What
We're
up?
back. Yeah, it's been a minute,
Good to be
hasn't it?
back.
It's been a minute. What's up, guy? How you doing, huh?
Dude, I'm pretty good, man. How have you been? You talk
I've
a
been
lot,
good.
but
Yeah, so
yeah.
so what's up, guys? First of all, welcome back to episode 34. Me and JD are pumped to be back broadcasting again together. Uh it's been a minute, man. Hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a minute. Lots
we
happened in the last
we've yeah,
6 months or so.
we've
Something like
we've
that.
had some life happen, haven't we?
Yeah. That's
So
that's definitely what's been going on.
so everybody kind of knows what my deal is. JD's been on a little different. He's had a few. He's had some stuff go on. JD is now a girl dad.
That's right.
So
I am.
congratulations on that,
Thanks,
dude.
man.
How are things going with that?
It's amazing. It's the best feeling in the world. I have a beautiful baby daughter. She's 6 months old now. It's probably about a month before the last podcast is when we had her, about or a month after the last podcast rather. And she's growing like a weed. I work all the time lately. My wife's been taking amazing care of our daughter at home and raising her, and she's just beautiful. She's really really great. It's the best thing in the world to be a dad. Definitely. It's
Dad life.
awesome. So it's been fun. Dad life, absolutely. But yeah, how have you been doing, my man?
Things have been going good, man. Things have been going good. We're hopefully going to be done with this in May, at the end of May. So that's a
Oh
good
yeah,
sign. All things are pointing
right around the
towards
corner.
that. At least all the numbers that matter are looking good. Everything's looking good, dude.
That's exciting, my man. I'm happy for you. You've been killing it. Like I've always heard this with cancer and everything that goes along with it is that it's all about your attitude and how you approach it and
Huge.
your intense, yeah, and that's all it is. And you've had like the best attitude of any person with cancer I've ever met. Like you've handled it so well, you fought it like so well. It's really amazing, man. You should be proud of yourself.
Not yet, Karam. Not yet. We have not got that news yet. I have May 25th is my big appointments. So
That's
technically, all right.
exciting.
So if we're splitting hairs, May 18th is when they basically do a full body from head to toe MRI and CAT scan, and they so that's when it starts. So May 18th they do the full body, like from head to toe, CAT scan, MRI, everything, blood work, and then May 25th, so that will show if there is anything other than in my like blood. So that's if everywhere else is clear, which it has been so far this year. It has been so far this year. Then I'm not worried about that one. The May 25th one is the big one. The May 25th one is when they actually like they actually go into the bone marrow, and that's where it's realistically gonna show. But everything's looking good, man. All of our all of our all the numbers that matter look good, and hopefully we're gonna get good news, and I get to come on here and May 25th and get drunk with everyone and announce that we're done. So we're not there yet, but we are. That train that victory train has started to leave the station.
I'll be drinking with you, my man. That's exciting. That's really really cool.
But it's good to be back, man. We
Yeah,
got
I missed you, man.
a lot's happened since kind of me and you have kind of uh, just had to deal with life.
Had a
Um,
hiatus. Yeah.
Lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah, man. Got a new job. I'm living in Wisconsin again. I had planned to move to Florida, but it did not work out. So I'm back in Wisconsin. It's been going good. I live in near Madison now. So if anyone's in the Madison area, hit me up. We can get a beer. But yeah, man. Let's get to the podcast, man. So it's. I'm glad we
Yeah,
got
let,
to.
let's uh let's let's do what we came here to do, right?
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. We.
So let's start
Yeah.
it off with the NBA, man. Let's start it
Oh
off
yeah.
since we're right in the middle of the, or right at the, I should say, right at the start of the
the
playoff
fun
push
stuff.
for a lot of teams, and everybody fighting for the kind of the everybody fighting for that final, those last final spots to get into the dance and get a shot at it. So who do you think? What do you think? And what are your thoughts so far?
Man, what an interesting season it's been. I have been paying attention to it. I have been a busy guy, but I ended up getting the league pass. Karam actually told me to get that a while back. I'll tell you, Karam, it's been pretty good. So I've been watching the league pass for a couple weeks now, and it's been good. And listening to a lot of stuff on the road. Uh, the Eastern Conference for once is stronger than the West. Now that's crazy to think about, man. Like if you
Yeah.
really look at the standings here, we got 4 50-win teams in the East.
Mm-hmm.
When has that ever happened? You know what I mean? And then the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are close to 50 wins. It's amazing. It's crazy the
Yeah.
turnaround. And then you look at the bottom of the West. It's funny. The media is all over here just like, oh, the bottom of the West is going to compete for a title. I mean, if I had
I
to
don't know if they'll
give you,
compete for a title, but they're going to make it interesting.
yeah, they are. They are going to make it interesting because you got some veteran like champions. People who have dominated the last decade,
Yeah.
like Steph and Kawhi and LeBron, all at the bottom of the West. So actually, let's talk about that. So let's talk about who's going to actually make the playoffs. That I think let's start with that because then we can work our way up here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
we know
West is packed. Karam says
no,
that's right.
the West is all crammed together. It's a lot closer. It's a lot. I would say it's a lot more of a mess in the West. Like everybody's fight. Like every game matters in the West for at least a dozen teams. You know what I mean? Like every single game matters. Like the East is kind of set for the most part. It's set.
Yeah, the East, I'm not gonna see much parity. Move cat. Ginger, come on, get out of the way. All right, she's in front of my others. I have two screens here. Anyway, the East is interesting though because I could see. Oh my gosh, this cat. I could see the Knicks. I could see the Knicks making a good run. I could see the Cavs making a good run. So I think like the bottom of the East, the only team at the bottom of the East that I see even remotely doing anything is the Heat. I think the Heat
Mm-hmm.
could sneak in a couple series wins and end up in the conference finals, maybe. They have the talent to do it. They haven't been playing consistently. Maybe they play consistently in the playoffs. They have some experience on that team. It's very possible. The Nets, it's going to be interesting to see Mikal Bridges, lead his own team and Cam Thomas and all those boys. They're good, but they don't have the experience that what I would imagine. The Knicks, again, same thing with experience. So I wouldn't bet on anyone that's not in the top four. So I agree with you. The East is kind of cut and dry. Like I wouldn't bet money.
Yeah, the top four are pretty much going to be pushing through on. Can we? So the one team in the East that's real intriguing to me this year is the Sixers. Can they
Yeah.
because Embiid has showed a lot of maturity this year. Like he's showed a lot of maturity this year, and he might be able to push. Like the only problem the Sixers are going to run into is if they run into the Celtics, and I think they're going to have to at some point run into the Celtics, and I'm going to say this about the Celtics. They've played down to their competition this year, and I hate that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because look at what they did to the Bucks when all 7 guys that realistically play for them were engaged. When all 7 guys that realistically play for the Celtics are engaged, they beat the Bucks by 40, dude. Like
out the gym. They have the ability to get hot. They have that ability to, and I'm wondering. I mean, and I didn't see that game. I wanted to, but it wasn't. It was on ESPN, not the League Pass or something. I don't like ESPN. So, what I would say is that with the East, I would bet on the Bucks because I think they're the most complete team, and I think they've been the most consistent all year. The Celtics. would be my close second. But you're right. I agree. The 76ers are the most interesting team in the East. And the reason
Dude,
being,
look at this score. It was 140 to 99. That's what they beat
oof,
Milwaukee.
yeah, that's rough.
140 to 99, dude.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I still am wondering who's going to
But then
guard
again,
Giannis.
right? So like this is what bugs the crap out of me with the Celtics, right? Because they'll play that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll play that kind of a game, right? And then they'll play the Hawks. They'll play the Hawks 2 games for the next game, and they'll lose to them by 9. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's how they've kind of
The
played it. Like
inconsistency.
it's I don't know of any other team outside the 2015 Warriors that could just skate through a season and then turn it on in the play. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if they have that kind of talent to do that. But remember, I've told you, like I told you at the beginning of this year, we're gonna see this year how far talent alone can take this team, because Spoelstra's for the Heat's a good coach. Nick Nurse, as much as I can't stand the guy, for the Raptors, he's a good coach. He almost beat the Celtics last night. You know what I mean? Like these guys on the opposite side of the floor, like Missoula is going to be outmatched almost every series. You know what I mean?
Interesting thought that you got rid of this guy. You got rid of
Udoka. Ime Udoka.
Thank you. Yeah, you got rid of him. Took you to the finals. Great defensive coach. Lots of intensity because of some affair or whatever. It happens all the time.
But it was off the court. You know what I mean? Like
it's off the court, exactly.
It's that's kind of stuff. Realistically, I mean, is it a bad look socially? Sure. Yeah, but like it
swept under the rug in 2 weeks.
It should remain a social issue. You know, like that's not like he didn't do anything like detrimental to the. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't detrimental to the league, to the team. It was just that's his. I don't know. I didn't understand them. I didn't understand it because it's a completely separate issue, in my opinion. That's why.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that you handle internally. I mean, maybe that was something that they just couldn't handle internally. I'm not sure. Like, I really not sure who, who was involved, how high up the ladder it was involved. I'm sure somebody knows. What's that?
No, you're right. It's how high does this thing? How like who knew in the organization about? Yeah, no, it's one of those. Absolutely
be pissed off. Yeah, to as much to fire him. Like that's intense. Hey, what's up, Grega? Good to see you. It's been a while. Appreciate you coming in.
So let me ask you like. So since we're on the NBA, let's go to the Bulls, right? Because they had a lot of hype going into the season, dude. There was the Bulls hype train was pretty high. There was pretty high expectations. I feel like for them this year.
Yeah, I mean injuries plagued them throughout the year. I think the Bulls lack true superstar power, though. I mean, it's hard for me I like DeMar DeRozan. Don't get me wrong. I like Vucevic. He's a nice player. And Levine is a good player too. When he's healthy, he's good. And it's Patrick Williams is a good defensive player, but I just don't see it. They lack a superstar. Like if you insert Giannis onto that team, that's an amazing team. But if you insert Joel Embiid onto the team, it's an amazing team. Kevin Durant, a healthy Kevin Durant onto the team, it's an amazing team. Luka, any major superstar, if you insert them onto the Bulls, they'll be a great player, or rather be a great team. But they don't have that. They don't have that guy. They just have a bunch of guys who are good. And having a bunch of guys who are good is kind of, it's not how you win in the NBA. You need one or two superstars to win a championship. That's just the way it is. So until we have that, which we have a lot of trade pieces too. That's another thing. Yeah, Lonzo can't stay healthy. That'd be another thing. So if we had Lonzo, at least we'd have one of the top 10 field general point guards on there. So you'd elevate everyone else who's good. You maybe make a couple of them great. Sometimes
you guys got to see. So you guys got to see first. We got to see, the league got to see firsthand when Lonzo's healthy how good he is. He's good when he is healthy and he's on. He's good, dude. He's real good.
I think of Lonzo as like a taller Chris Paul, But the difference is he can't score as well, and Chris Paul is an Iron Man. He never gets hurt. Well, he was an Iron Man. I should say the last. Well, that's not true. In the playoffs, he's gotten hurt quite a
No,
few
he's
times. I
he's
shouldn't say
pretty
that.
he's pretty rock solid through the playoffs.
But yeah, he's had a lot of playoff runs, as I should say. He's got a lot
That's
of
true.
injuries, but he also has a lot of playoff runs. Lonzo can't even play in the regular season, so
Yeah.
that's like his problem. But I do think that he has a lot of the same. I don't think he has the same half court IQ that Chris Paul does, but he has this. What he has is like the Magic Johnson fast break passing that
Hmm.
Chris Paul. He has it sometimes, but I would say that Lonzo is really good at that. So, but yeah, he can't stay healthy and he can't really develop, and we're not going to have that team turn from good to great without somebody like Lonzo on the floor anyway. So it's just not going to work out. I think we should blow it up, trade everyone but Vucevic probably, and maybe maybe keep DeRozan because you're not going to get that much for him at his age anyway. And then try to get some young guys. Try to get some high end draft picks. Maybe go all in on Victor Wembanyama. I don't know if that's probably not going to happen, but we'll see. This we need a superstar. It's the end of the discussion, or rather for the Bulls. But I'm more disappointed in the Mavs. Karam was talking about it.
All right, so that's a great transition. So one of the biggest pieces that kind of moved this year was Kyrie Irving. He went from the Nets to the Mavericks, and like that was me and you had talked about it like when it happened. That was a disaster waited. Like, what was Cuban thinking? Like, Kyrie is a known like head case in the locker room and just known for causing issues and problems, and it's just like what like that was a train wreck waiting to like now it's like so I hope Mark Cuban like what if Luka goes, well, the hell with this, I'm not staying here now. Fuck that noise. Like, why should I stay here? Like I hope he realized like what like bringing Kyrie just like Luka could leave. You guys could lose. The Mavericks could lose Luka Doncic over doing that.
Luka could leave. Luka should leave. He should leave. Luka needs to come to Chicago because we have a nice new GM. We have a couple young players. We got Vucevic. He'd play well with Vucevic.
He
Um,
would.
but here's the travesty. This is the thing I wanted to actually bring up whenever we were scripting this a little bit is that the Mavericks have failed Luka Doncic really, really badly. They've had a lot of opportunities to get good players. They could have gotten Kawhi Leonard. They probably could have gotten LeBron at some point. They could
Durant
have
too.
drafted a few good players.
Durant. They could have got Durant.
Durant. They could have got Durant.
They could have got Durant when he wanted out. When he wanted out of Golden State, they could have got him.
They could have re-signed Jalen Brunson. They could have traded for Rudy Gobert. He was on the trading block. They could have gotten a lot of players to complement Luka Doncic. And you know what the Mavericks do? They say, we have the best closing guard in the whole league. He's 6'8" or 9. He's huge. He does a pump fake the best you've ever seen. He has passes all over the place. He is a great step back shot. He is one of the best clutch players of all time in NBA history. So you know what we also need? Another guard who's injury prone, who is a closer, and he steals the ball from the best clutch guard in the league. And he does a bunch of layup packages that sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. That's what we need instead of a defender. Like, really? You really? Yeah, losing Finney Smith was huge. I agree, Karam. I thought that was the stupidest thing they could have ever done. Honestly, if it was Spencer Dinwiddie in a second round pick, yeah, sure. But Finney Smith? Really? You're going to trade one of Luka's number one targets at the 3-point line, and a guy who hides a lot of Luka's deficiencies? Like he picks up him and Maxey will pick up some of the best defender, or rather scorers for Luka, because Luka is, he'll burn out on the Luka's. This is what Luka does, and he needs to work on his stuff. Luka will come on the offensive end. He'll give you everything. He'll give you his heart, his soul. He'll pump fake left, right, up, down, pivot, Euro step, pass. He'll give you everything. And then on the defense, sometimes he's a little winded, especially late in the game. So you need a guy who like Finney Smith, who's big and he can kind of take some of that away from Luka, some of those problems away. But instead, they get Kyrie Irving, who also doesn't play defense and who also takes the ball in the clutch, which is Luka's best time. Honestly, the stupidest. This is worse than the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James. Like the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James, they gave him Shaq. They gave him Mo Williams. They
Yeah.
gave him Antoine Jameson. They gave him some guy. It wasn't the best. Keep in mind, like they could have got probably KG. They probably could have, they could have got some better players, some superstars. They fumbled a little bit. The Mavericks are not only fumbling it, they are nose diving in the ground with their nose first. They are complete fools. Like they're screwing this up, and they
So
deserve to lose Luka. Absolutely deserve it.
I'm actually surprised he hasn't left yet. Because
Yeah.
so 2018, he got drafted into the NBA. He's been in the NBA since 2018, right? I'm gonna read you guys just some of the accomplishments in 5 years. This guy has accomplished, right? 4-time NBA All-Star, 3-time NBA First Team, NBA Rookie of the Year, right? Just in 5 years. So 4 out of the 5 years, he's been an all-star. 3 out of the 5, he's been first team NBA. And he was the rookie of the year. And they haven't helped this guy, or they haven't realized, like, hey, maybe we should put some talent around this guy to try and help him.
It's amazing too, because you don't even need another superstar around Luka. Luka is kind of like LeBron, where he sets people up. You just need guys who can do the things that he can't do. You need guys who can catch and shoot and play defense. That's it. That's all they need to do. And you need your rim protection.
When I saw the Kyrie move, I was like, this is desperation, dude. That's what this is desperate. Cuban is desperate to get any, like,
I don't know why he thought that would work.
But dude,
I was like, what?
Kyrie is a known cancer in the locker room. So why? Like,
it just doesn't even make basketball sense.
So he forced his way. He wanted to be Batman in Cleveland, right? Forced his way out because he wasn't the center of attention, right? He comes to Boston, right? He comes to Boston. He gets hurt and realizes the young kids don't need this dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. We don't need you, motherfucker. We don't need you. We can do it without you, right? And you know what? Honestly, I think that was a tough pill for that dude to swallow, because the young kids proved that we don't need him. We can do it without him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they proved it. A young Tatum and Brown proved that they didn't need Kyrie, right?
That he was a detriment, really.
That's getting in the way. So then he forces his way out of Boston, right? Forces his way out of Boston into Brooklyn, right? Gets his buddy over there, Kevin Durant, and then it falls apart in Brooklyn too. And he does the same thing, forces his way out of there. Now it's what is the one constant? It's Kyrie. He's just a freaking head case. And if he's not the center of attention, forget it. It's not going to work.
It would be one thing, right? If this is the thing. Like, it'd be one thing if the Mavericks had like another wing, a good wing defender besides Kleber. They had like maybe one or two more wings and rim protector and like 2 extra shooters off the bench. And then you get Kyrie Irving, right? Then you get him. But instead, they have none of those things. They have absolutely nothing to complement Luka and Kyrie. And they're just throwing Kyrie in the mix. And that's just not – it's silly. It really is. And the thing is, Luka needs the ball at the end of the game. You know who else needs the ball at the end of the game more than anyone in the league? Kyrie Irving. That right there was the first thing that popped in my head when I saw the trade. So both of these guys need the ball at the end of the game to be effective and to like truly be effective. And there's only one ball. Like, what do you not understand about this? And the guy who Karam brought it up in the chat, the guy who worked perfectly with Luka and knew exactly when to turn it on and turn it off, and knew exactly when to give it to Luka and when to take over the game, was Jalen Brunson. And they
Yeah.
went to the Western Conference Finals and were, I would say, just a little defense, maybe a rim protector away from a good rim
They
protector away
needed
from
if they had
making
if
it
they
past
had
the
another
Warriors.
quarter, they would have beat them.
Yeah, and now Karam's right. The roster sucks now.
If Dallas had another quarter, they would have won that game. Seriously, they would have won that game.
I was rooting for him. I love Luke because I love his game. His game is exciting. Hey, what's
Well,
up from Hawaii?
the best part about Doncic, dude, is that pressure doesn't get to him at all. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And Kyrie is sometimes he's amazing in the clutch, and sometimes he's trash. So why would you even risk it? Like, what's the point of Kyrie? You know, Luka in the clutch, especially in the playoffs, is cold as ice. Period.
Yeah.
Kyrie
Dude,
can get hot in the playoffs, but you know,
he's beat the Celtics. He's beat the Celtics twice on buzzer beaters. Twice. He's beat them on a buzzer beater. 2 times.
remember what he did to the Clippers? You remember the Clippers
Yes.
with it was Kawhi and Paul George guarding him. And that was when, because here's the thing, they had like a bunch of wing defenders in that series. Like the Mavericks were doing really good that year. They had a good roster around Luka. They just couldn't put it together when it truly mattered, right? So
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. He was young, but now Luka's like he's deflated. You know what I mean? And
I think he's getting tired of the same shit every year with them. I think he is.
he even said, yeah, he says he doesn't enjoy the game anymore. He's tired.
Well, he's tired because he has to carry that whole team. I'd be
Could
tired
you
too.
imagine if LeBron said that? Like,
But you know what I mean? Like he's tired. Like I don't blame him for being tired. He's carried that team ever since he's got here, and they have given him nothing to work with. Nothing.
and he brought his Slovenian team with absolutely no NBA players and only like 2 EuroLeaguers to the well, not 2, I think it was like 4.
Dude, he won the
to
Euro championship, right? They won the
yeah, well,
championship, right?
he won his area. I think they
Yeah.
lost to the United States, or they lost to Spain, I think, and then Spain beat the United States. That was with Kevin Durant, and I think somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's been
No,
it's
you're
been a
right.
little
They did, but yeah, they
foggy.
made it to like the second to last game.
Yeah, it was
You're right.
real close. Oh, Rudy Gobert beat him. France. That's what it was. Yeah, Rudy Gobert and
France.
Evan Fournier. Oh, that was
Yeah.
a good game. Oh my god, that was such a good game. Anyway, but I'm getting a little off topic. What I meant to say was that they needed to figure out. It wasn't that hard to figure out. You had an offensive superstar, put defensive guys around him, and they didn't do it. They just can't figure it out. There's like, what? What's a defensive player? What does that do? Let's get Kyrie Irving. Duh.
After 2 seasons of him being an all-star, they should have started building around him after that. Because it's like, okay, 1 year, it's like I get, okay, so he gets rookie of the year. Great, right? Then the next year, he makes an all-star. After that year, they should have started building around him. They should have said, okay, we got something here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think he needs to leave.
Annually, they give him nothing. They give him nothing to work with. They just, and they like you said, honestly, he should leave just to prove a point. Be like, you guys have given me nothing. Like I've given this team everything, and I have nothing to show for it.
Well, he needed to sign that first deal with the first team to make sure he got his max money. I totally understand that. You know what I mean? You're not going to turn down like an extra, what is it, $60 million? You're not going to turn that down. That'd be stupid. So you sign the first deal, but after that, like what 2026 comes around? And if they still haven't figured it out, or like maybe even he requests a trade before then, like 2024 or 2025, you can request a trade. I'm just saying I wouldn't even feel like some people would call him a quitter, but I wouldn't. I'd be like, I get why LeBron left. I get why a lot of people left. Karan Ray says Luka's better than Anthony Davis. Luka isn't going to leave if they make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to.
I think even if they make the playoffs, he's still going to consider leaving.
How are they going to make the playoffs? They haven't won a game in like, I don't even know when the last time they won a game. It's been like a week. I don't think they're like they're behind OKC.
I think they're
now.
in like the
12th.
12th. I think the 11th or 12th seed right now. They would have to win out to have a chance. They would.
Yeah, they're 11th. They're 11th.
Yeah, so they would have to win out to even have a chance.
But the Thunder won more game against. They have more division wins against them, or something like that. So
let's So the interesting topic right now, or one of them, I should say, in the NBA is the MVP conversation. Man, like it's
Sorry.
there's the top five are good. Any one of the top three could get it. Any one of them, you could give it to them. You could give it to any one of the top three guys, and it would be well deserved.
I'm gonna pull up their stats real quick. Um, I personally would give it to Giannis, and the reason why, and
Really, Giannis?
yeah, Giannis. Um, the reason why is because I'm tired of the NBA, and I mean I'm biased here because I have a reason. I don't think the NBA should only include. I think it should matter what you do in the playoffs. I think your history should matter. I think like the last 5 years should matter a little bit. I know it's an individual regular season award, but I don't think it should be. So that's just me. I think they should give it to like I think it should be like the most revered player of the year award. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's the most valuable player, and I would consider Giannis the most valuable player. I really would. So if and that's why I don't like their criteria. Their criteria is based on like purely stats, and I don't think that criteria is fair. I think you have to
Well,
include leadership
it,
and
it no, 100%. There's way more
record.
to it than just stats. There's way
Exactly.
more to it. Way more.
So that's why I choose Giannis. You know, he played about the same amount of games as the other two. He's got a couple less games. He plays about the same amount of minutes. He has a Joker has a better field goal percentage, so that's what a lot of people are going to. You know, he's very very efficient. Joker is, but I think Giannis he has to carry the load. He does have a good team. He does have a good team, but he's just been the superstar for a really really long time. Joel would be my second, and just Jokic. The thing with Jokic is, and like this sounds dumb because I understand like why he's getting the award. It's all about analytics. His analytics are insane.
Oh,
Um,
dude, they're like
they're ridiculous.
video. Yeah, they're like video game. They're ridiculous.
It's never a lot of the stuff that he does during the regular season has never been done. It's unicorn numbers. So that's why he's getting it every time now. But the thing is he keeps getting smacked in the playoffs every single year.
Yeah.
Every year he's trash in the playoffs. That's why I wish
Mm-hmm.
they would just wait till the end of the finals to choose like an MVP. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why just do the whole thing? Regular season like let's say this, right? So remember in 2018 when LeBron was just crapping on the league and he was like dropping 50 a game in the playoffs, and that was like his
Mm-hmm.
peak. That was when he just peaked. LeBron was just crapping on everyone. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was the year the Celtics took him 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
Tatum dunked on him. It was iconic. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so in that year, right, the Warriors swept him. But LeBron was the MVP of the playoffs, and he was the MVP of the season. He carried the entire team for like
Oh,
he
dude,
dragged them.
he
So
drug that team through the playoffs.
yeah,
Drug
so
'em.
are you telling me that he's not the most valuable player in the NBA that year? You know, he probably was. I don't actually remember who was. Probably was James Harden, honestly. You know what? I'm gonna check it out. 2018. I bet it was James Harden. See, that's stupid to me. That's LeBron James's MVP. You know?
So so while you're looking that up, I
Mhm.
would if it were me, I would give it to Embiid this year. My nod for the MVP would go to Joel Embiid
That's fair.
because
That's a good. Yeah.
he would as much as I can't stand the Sixers, if you take him out of the equation off that team, what is that team? They're what, 30 wins maybe? 35?
Well, I
You know what I
do
mean?
like how deep their top of their roster is, but I think I agree that he's like arguably the MVP of the league still. Like or what's his name? Tyrese Maxey? Yeah, Tyrese Maxey and
Yeah, yes, Maxi. Yes, yep.
Harris and Harden. I don't know. They're all really good, but at the same time, yeah, Embiid carries the shit out of them. So
But you know what? Like they it's just the not only are Embiid's numbers there to give it to him, but like if you take him off that squad, what are they? They're he means that much. Like
They're
let's
average.
be honest, right? The Bucks
They're the
would
Bulls.
if the Bucks if you if you took Giannis off the court, the Bucks would still be pretty good,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Probably
They would still
45
be a
wins.
pretty. You took Embiid off the Sixers, dude. That's a 35 win team.
I would agree with it. Harden would, unless Harden like just upped his, but Harden's kind of fallen off. So yeah, I agree with you.
But you know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
saying, you take Embiid off that team, and that's a 35 to 40 win team.
So I agree with you. I mean, I think Embiid has an incredible argument. I'm not even arguing against it
Yeah.
because like to me it's like Embiid and Giannis are like 1 and 2 for me. I want to ask Karan, why would you vote for Jokic? Is it just the numbers? Like, are the numbers amazing? Like, is that what it is? He's just, oh wow, he's so efficient and stuff like that. Is that all it is? Because I mean, that's great. I
Because
just think that I
like
don't know.
Joker's
I
numbers
don't
are
love it.
phenomenal, but is he really a leader of men on the team? You know what I'm saying?
Does he carry them? I don't really
Like
know.
Embiid is the leader of that team. Guys look to that guy. You know what I mean?
Unquestionably.
Like guys
When
look to
it's
that guy.
yeah.
Giannis is the guys look to Giannis on
Completely.
the team on the Bucks. Like as Giannis goes, so do the Bucks.
Yeah.
As Embiid goes, so do the Sixers. It's
Giannis will give
those
you
are the
50.
MVP guys, and not only that, like the leader, like you said, leadership, but they put the numbers up to match it.
And get this, to prove my point even further with what I just said right here. Bam. 2018, James Harden. I guessed right. James Harden was the MVP. 45% field goal percentage, 30 points a game, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. And then LeBron James wasn't even like in the running, dude. He was like 5th place.
Yeah,
LeBron James should have been the MVP that year. He was clearly the best player in the entire universe. Arguably 28. I've actually said this before. If you ask me seasons, like Jimmy High Roller does this on YouTube sometimes. If you just go by seasons, the greatest players in the world are 1988 Michael Jordan, 2018 LeBron, and 2006 Kobe Bryant. Unquestionably, those are the
yeah.
greatest seasons ever put together in the history of basketball. To
If
me,
you ever wanted to see someone that got to Jordan level for even if it was for
yeah,
one season, LeBron got to
that was
MJ
Bron.
level.
He did it.
See, MJ was great because MJ got to MJ level and just fucking stayed there and
That's
never
true.
left.
And he shit on everyone.
LeBron got there and then dropped off. Why do you think people say MJ is unequivocally the greatest of all time? Because he got there and stayed there. But like you were saying, that one season, 2018, LeBron got to that level. He did. He got
was
there.
insane. Like from 2015 to 2019, that was LeBron's peak, and I think he was as good as Jordan ever was in that time period. And yet the voters voted for James Harden because he put up a bunch of shots. See, that to me, that just, and he was in Mike D'Antoni's offense, and he was like the centerpiece to it. That to me is just crazy. I can't. Look at Joker. So yeah, Joker, for instance. Do you think Joker's just going to crap on the league this playoff? Do you really think that Joker's going to carry that Nuggets team to the finals and just crap on everybody? Like, I'm not convinced of that at all. I could see Embiid doing it. I could see Giannis doing it. I could see Steph Curry doing it. I could even see LeBron James 22 years in, like going off for 35 a game and having it, you know what I mean? But I just can't see those guys doing that. And to me, that's when, or Kevin Durant too. Uh, I don't see that ever happening. So that's why I don't think he should be the MVP. And I know, yeah, Joker's a facilitator. I get it. But well, Chris Paul never wins MVP, you
Yeah,
know?
he's a facilitator. Yeah, he's a
Right.
facilitator.
So the only facilitator I remember to win MVP was Steve Nash. And everyone tells me that it should have been Shaq that won those MVP. You know, everyone says that. So what is the criteria? Like, is it just how efficient you are, how great you are? I want to know what the criteria is so I can question the criteria and I can actually
See, I don't
apply it.
even think they know what it is. You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
think they
Like
do
one
either.
year it'll be a popularity contest, the next year it'll go by stats. You know, it's like
Westbrook was a 7th seed and they won.
yeah.
7th seed. So, and I actually understand why he won, because if you took him off that team, they would be just a bunch of pieces. So, it was
Yeah.
a team built for Kevin Durant that Russell Westbrook had to completely take over offensively. So I understand what they did, but at the same time, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna look at that MVP too. Actually, was that 2017? I think. Yeah, it was Westbrook.
So you're picking Giannis, right? Your pick for MVP is going to be Giannis.
Yeah, best player in the whole world, two-way player, most dynamic player. He's the
See, but
best.
that's the other thing why like I think Giannis and Embiid are going to be like two of the faces in the league for a while because those are two-way guys. Not only do they put it up offensively, but dude, they swat the fuck out of people every but like you're not getting close. You're not getting close to the hoop with those two guys on the court. You're just not. You're just not. Right?
I agree. Yeah, man. I think Giannis is the best player in the world, and I would, if I had to take somebody right now to start my franchise with, it would definitely be Giannis Antetokounmpo. Zero question about it. So, yeah, he's the most valuable player in the league. He's the best. He's like 7 foot. He drops 31 a game, 12 rebounds, 6 assists on 55% shooting, and he shoots threes. And he guards your best player. Does Jokic guard your best player? Does Jokic take your best player from the wing? I don't think he does. Is he even that good of a rim protector? Where do you think the Nuggets would be without Jokic? That's a good question. I think they'd be a bunch of shooters lacking a true superstar, and Jokic is it he's a
You know
superstar.
why? You know why I think Joker wins a lot of them because he's the anchor.
Yeah. Okay. He is the anchor.
Because he's the anchor. He's the anchor point of that team. And without the anchor point, what happens? Everything just drifts away and drifts apart. He wins those MVPs because without him being the anchor of that team, it's nothing. It's seriously like there's no direct. He's the anchor. He's the rudder. It's that's why.
Point. It's a very good point.
Does it
And
make
he's leading
does
the
it
West.
does it really kind of make sense? Not really, but like it's because there's a lot of guys that are like that, dude. There's a lot of guys that are anchor points for their team. Al Horford is the anchor point of the Celtics. He doesn't win MVPs.
Right. But and he's not as efficient as the Joker.
But you know what I mean? Like guys like that don't I don't know. They just I don't know.
He's won back-to-back. The last person to win 3 MVPs in a row was Larry Bird in the 80s. Was the last person. So I think that's why I said this entire MVP race is kind of a joke because it's at this point like what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the best player in the league or are we talking about like the most statistically efficient player that provides the most for their team? That's what the Joker is, I guess. He's the most statistically efficient player and he provides the most analytics for his team. That I guess is the MVP. I don't like it. It should be the analytic MVP, the AVP. But
So
anyway,
let's switch it up a little bit, JD. So I want to get your kind of outsider's point of view on something here. So let's jump on the Pike and head east towards Boston here, and we'll I want to talk about this Bill Belichick, Mac Jones, Bailey Zapp, all this drama going on in New England, and I want an outsider's perspective on it. So all of this drama that's going on where Mac Jones contacted Alabama and was talking to them like about the offensive struggles behind Bill's back and Bill not showing any type of like throwing any type of support. Like normally when teams get their guy, right, and the media starts kind of poking and prodding, but you know how Bill is. He shuts them down. Yeah, what are you talking about? Mac's our guy. What do you like? There's like all this is stupid. Like, what are you guys talking about? Mac's our guy. We have our guy. There's no quarterback controversy. You know, Belichick over here shooting snot rockets at the media like he usually does, right? But like,
that's a really
you know what I mean?
tip. Yeah.
Right? But that's
I
what I
like
mean.
that
Like,
wording.
but you know what I mean? Like, that's what he does. He just shoots snot rockets at the media all the time. And like normally, because you know how he is, he don't feed into the drama and he just squashes it, right? Like if there's any type of drama, he's just like, no, what are you guys talking about? There's no quarterback drama. Mac's our guy. He hasn't said that once this year. And then all of this stuff starts coming out where Mac went behind his back. He's talking to Alabama. He's talking to all these guys. And just the overall way Mac kind of carried himself last year at times where you could tell he was not happy with Matt Patricia. He was screaming at him on the like, and the game that really kind of exposed how bad the situation was between Mac, Patricia, and Bill was the Bears game, dude. The Bears blew them out 34-20 or 20. The Bears dropped. Justin Fields ate that team alive. I was there at that game, and I've seen Gillette like hostile. You know what I mean? That the atmosphere towards Mac was hostile, dude. They booed him off the field for Bailey Zappi. Like it was bad.
That's wild.
They
That's
booed
actually
him
wild.
off the field. What's up, Awesomeness Sports?
I actually
So
remember that.
all this goes down, right? Like the whole last year season, how that went, like just the constant like banging of heads with Patricia and Mac on the field, and then all this stuff in the off season where it's like, you know, Bill not really showing any, you know, not backing Mac, and then you have Mac going behind. So Mac has gone behind Bill's back on more than one occasion about like the struggles of the team instead of like going to Bill. Like, what do you, as an outsider, like, what do you make of like all this?
So I hate it. Bill Belichick is aging like milk. He is absolutely out of touch. I think he is a guy who gets close to people, and once he gets close to people, he only wants to deal with those people. And outsider, he doesn't like to meet new people. He's not open to new things. He likes to do the same things over and over, and basically, you might help. Okay. And basically, I think that Bill, I think he's just, yeah, he's aging poorly. He reminds me of, what's his name? Popovich. I think I've said this before, is that Popovich and Bill keep kind of doing the same old thing because they think, oh, I have all these championships, it'll work eventually. So I just got to get the right players and we'll figure it out. And the truth is that the more Bill coaches and the more Bill GMs, the more we're realizing that without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, I don't think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time anymore. I used to. I think that he is a great coach, one of the best of all time. He is, maybe, you know what he is? The best defensive and special teams coach of all time. No question. He is. He should never have become the GM. He's kind of like Jerry Jones as a GM. He's very like, what the hell are you doing? You're just kind of off base and not doing things that are consistent. So whoever was the GM before, I forgot. I think it was like 2016 where he took over that role or something like that, or before that. I don't
I'd
remember
have to go
exactly.
back and look for sure.
Not
He's been
sure.
it for a while now. He's
For
been the
like,
GM for a
yeah.
while. I think it's like 10 years he's been the GM.
And Tom Brady recognized that. And a lot of people say that, oh, Bill and Tom just kind of had their drift. But the more you look back at actually what happened, it really was about the roster at the end of the day. So both the Bucks, Tom Brady never was about money. Everyone's like, oh, well, Bill just won't pay him and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that might be part of it. But I think it was more about he's not surrounding Tom with any weapons. He doesn't spend any money in free agency for some reason, unless it's on defense. And he asks everyone else to sacrifice things, and then he cuts them. So he's built up a lot of bad aura. You got Asante Samuel taking shots on Twitter. You got a lot of ex-Patriots taking shots on Twitter. He's not aging well. People do not like Bill Belichick anymore. A lot of people don't on the outside. They love Tom Brady now. Everybody loves Tom Brady because they remember all the good times. And also, you look at when Tom left, Bill went, he nosedived. I mean, everything has just been terrible. They've gone from the greatest franchise ever in all of football to an average franchise, maybe below average at this point. They're slightly kind of they're dipping. And that's my outsider's perspective. Here's what I would do to fix it. Unless, do you want me to respond to that before I would?
No, go for it. How would you fix it?
Here's
Seriously, I want to hear out an outsider's view.
If I'm
Seriously,
Robert Kraft, this is what I got to do. I got to sorry, Bill. Listen, I'll do this real quietly. Okay, we won't even tell anyone. Just be between me and you, Bill. I'm gonna hire someone to be our GM. We'll call him the scouting director. Whatever. Just doesn't matter. You're the GM still. Whatever. Sure, you're the GOAT. All right, Bill. You don't want to mess with his ego because he's got a huge, giant ego, and you want him to stick around. He's still a good coach. Obviously, you don't want to lose him. You want him to end. You don't want him to leave on bad terms. You know what I mean? So you want to maybe go to the playoffs a couple more times with him and then say, all right, Bill, it's been good. All right, see ya. But while you find his replacement in the next 5 years, because he's getting old, But here's what I would do. I would hire a GM. You don't have to call him a GM. Doesn't matter. Hire a guy who knows what the hell he's doing. relieve Bill of like 99% of those duties. Do not draft the people that Bill wants to draft anymore. Just stop doing that. Also, make it very clear to Bill that he can't hire. Also, yeah, that scouting director GM also gets to hire. That was the very key part of it. He gets to hire the coaches from now on. Bill can suggest some coaches, but from now on, he has to go through this person, whoever he is, whoever they decide.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do, because you can't have Bill in this much control anymore. He's become so old and outdated. And here's the second part of my plan. Here's the second part of my plan. The final part, actually, it's very important. Right now, I would trade Mac Jones, because clearly that's sour. That's just not going to work out. Keep Bailey Zappi. He's solid, right? Keep him. Trade Mac Jones. Get Lamar Jackson. Pay whatever you need to pay. Doesn't matter. Pay what you need to pay. Get Lamar Jackson. Build an offense around Lamar Jackson. Bill likes tight ends. So does Lamar Jackson.
Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Bill.
And that's pretty much my plan. Just give the offense to Lamar Jackson and some offensive coordinator. Give it to him. It's all you, buddy. And move on. And then Bill, you just do the defense and the special teams, and there you go. Boom, you're in the Super Bowl again. You can win another Super Bowl with that. So literally, if they just do that, why not?
Yeah,
he's good at O-line. He's good at defense.
There's one massive problem with that, right? So there's one massive problem with it. If Kraft, and I know this for a fact, like just because I've seen Bill and how if you go to Bill Belichick as Bob Kraft and say, Bill, we're taking the GM, because I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you, right? If you look at Bill's career as a GM, just the GM, not the coach, right? Just the GM. He's been average to above average. Let's call it average, right? He's been average as a GM. About maybe a 40% hit rate. You know what I mean? When it comes to things as a career, right? As a career.
I would argue Tom Brady covered up a lot of his problems, but
no, 100%. Like you add Brady's talent onto that. So let's say a 30 to 40% hit rate, which is pretty good. That's mid for a GM. That's mid. You know what I mean? Bill Belichick as a GM has been mid for his career. But he is one of, if not the greatest coach to ever coach. But the problem with this is, if you're Bob Kraft and you go to Bill Belichick and say, Bill, we're taking, at this point in his career, right? At this point in his career, if you go to him this year and say, you know what, Bill, like, we're going to take the GM role from you. We're going to give it to somebody, right? We're not going to call him a GM, but we're going to take that role for, like, you know what I mean? Like you said, right? Yeah. They give him a different title, but they strip him of the GM role, right? Do you know what Bill Belichick's going to do?
What? Retire?
He's going to look at Bob Kraft and tell him to eat his Patriot nutsack. He's leaving. If you no, I'm serious. I'm serious. This is absolutely what would happen. Just because I know how Bill operates. Bill likes to have like complete control of a situation. So he can, that way, if he's got complete control of a situation, he can control all of the outside factors and manage them, right? Well, as soon as you add a GM into the, like, let's say you add another guy into that mix, that's something that he can't control. Bill is a control freak. He is. But that's why he's been so good at what he does, because he gets to see and control all of that stuff, you know, and manage it. And is he good at it? Yeah. But that's so if you lose Bill the GM, you lose Bill the coach. That's issue. That's the problem number one, right? So and I think like the whole Patriots drama has so many like different factors to it, right? Like, so they had to beg, you know, like Matthew Slater and Matthew Slater, right? The special teams guy that came back for us, right? They had to beg him to stay, right? Like he's wanted to retire now for probably 2 years. They begged him to stay. Bill is, in my opinion, now this is my take on this, right? Bill is worried about, because these young athletes are different, man. Like let's be honest. The younger these new crop of athletes, come on, but this
they're
new
very
crop
different.
of athletes, they're just built different, right? Like they're they want their financial gains. Like they know their worth. They're not gonna. A lot of them know their financial worth.
They don't
right?
take pay cuts anymore.
No, that's what. So,
They're not
but
doing
this is
that.
what I'm talking. So, that's part of it too. So, he's Bill is what. So that's another aspect of it. He's worried about the locker room because he almost locked. There was division in the Patriots locker room last year. There was a crowd of guys that stood with Mac Jones, and there was a crowd of guys that stood with Bailey Zappi. And anytime a locker room is divided anytime a locker room is divided like that, no wonder why the offense struggled the way it did, right? I think Bill is having trouble with the locker room. That's another aspect of it. And then to get like Brady was what Brady did for Bill was quiet all the noise. Guys, the system works. Listen, the system works. It might not seem like it, or it might seem like we do a lot of stupid, crazy shit here for no apparent reason. But Brady was that calming, it works, guys. It works, right? That's what his role for the 20 seasons was. The system works, guys. Trust me, it works.
Tim Duncan.
And when you lost, right? When you lost that guy, that's what you lost. You lost that force in the locker room being like, it works, guys. Just trust me. You have to So that's there's a bunch of and then you have, there's so many different facets to why they're at where they're at. And Bill and Kraft, I personally think the Lamar rumors have died down a little bit in New England, but I personally think that Kraft, let's be honest, JD, right? Letting the greatest quarterback on the planet walk for friggin' nothing was a mistake on Bob Kraft's part. And you can't tell me if you're Bill Belichick, that wouldn't piss you off.
That was Bill. Huh? That was Bill's
fault. Because Brady went to Bob Kraft and said, "I want to go," and Bob. Bob just let him go. Right. He didn't put up a fight or nothing. So I think imagine you're running a company, right? Imagine you're running a company, and you're the COO, not the CEO, but the COO, and your CEO has a conversation with your top salesman and lets him go to another company for free. Think about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No compensation. Imagine what the Patriots and Bill Belichick and all those guys at the time could have done with 3 first-round draft picks. Think about it, right?
Right.
Absolutely. 3 first-round draft picks and probably $10 million in money.
At least sign and trade him, where he wants to go.
They could have got that. I mean,
that was stupid. You're right.
In my opinion, that burned Bill's ass. Right?
Yeah.
And then I think Cam Newton, the way that they were setting the offense up with the 2 tight ends, with Cam Newton with a more mobile kind of RPO style, I think the Bears kind of fucked the Patriots over in that draft. Because do you remember when me and you were broadcasting it, and I told you the Bears just jumped the Patriots and they drafted Fields? Yeah. I think the Pats. So because of the way right now that Bill and Kraft are acting towards one another, when was the last time you saw this many leaks on what's happening inside the organization get out? I think Bill and Kraft are acting the way they're acting towards each other because I don't think they wanted Mac Jones. I think they might have wanted Justin Fields. And guess what? Think about this. Cam Newton being a mentor for Justin Fields, it's not a bad idea.
That would be good.
That's good. Not a bad, but I mean, if I'm just saying hypothetically, if that was their plan, that might have not have been a bad idea. But I think the Bears kind of fucked them because they were. Don't forget, I believe they picked Fields at 11, right? They jumped to either 9 or 11 to get him, and the Patriots were picking 15. I can absolutely see a scenario where that went down, and it would explain a lot of the actions of Bill and Kraft now.
I agree. I agree. I think that I definitely think that they didn't want Mac Jones. He kind of fell in their lap, and they said okay. So he's never been the guy. He's been a guy that they hoped they could develop into the guy, which is what's up, the QC. What's up, Bill? We're definitely going to talk about. We'll finish the pod. Is this okay with you, Bobby? We finish the podcast with the Bears.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
What
Yeah.
up, QC? What's up?
But the last thing I want to say about the Patriots, what you just said to me, all that everything that you just said to me, just furthers my belief system. You're making it even harder belief system that they should go after Lamar Jackson because
Yes,
they understand
1,000% they should.
they absolutely have to. They absolutely have to. He'd be perfect for them. They don't even have to do anything. Think about this, okay? All you have to do for Lamar Jackson is provide him with an O-line and receivers. That's it. That's all you have to do. He's going to do everything else. He is his own offense. And then you have a good backup like Bailey Zappi, and you can draft and develop like you want to do, and you could just take your time, and he could be that bridge guy that you could maybe even win a Super Bowl with, Lamar Jackson. Take advantage of his window because Michael Vick, he fell off
Dude,
after
Lamar's
like
only
34.
26 years old.
He's got 8 years of just dominating the league, with his physicality, and he's going to. And he's a great passer. People say he's not a good passer because he doesn't have as many touchdown passes as Mahomes. But think about this: he's running half the time too. He's got 800 yards a year, so he doesn't need as many touchdown passes. He have as many. He's got like 10 rushing touchdowns a year. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Bill doesn't get offense. Lamar is an offense. He is an offense. Get him. Just throw him in there. You're the greatest coach of all time if you do that, in my opinion. And you could just go off into the sunset, or coach as long as you want. And I think it's a no-brainer for the Patriots. Just go after this guy. You need him. He needs you. You need him. It's perfect. And what do you care about guaranteed money? Like, this is something Bill needs to get over.
Well, listen, the cap is bullshit in any sport. Owners and GMs can manipulate the money. Please, they do it all the time. They do it all the time. The cap is bullshit. They can manipulate it any way they can. If the Patriots wanted him, he would be here. Seriously, he would be here.
The last thing I also like about I wanted to touch on and I almost forgot about is you have some players in those locker room that were there with Tom Brady. Not everyone, a couple, but those are the leaders of the locker room, right? They saw Tom Brady leave the Patriots and go and win a Super Bowl the next year.
Yeah.
So that is going to have some diminishing returns on Bill's reputation. It is. It has to. It has to. So anyway, that's all I got for the Patriots.
So do you want to finish with the gaming?
The Bears.
You want to? Oh
yeah. Shoot.
You want to talk about that for a second, real quick, for a minute?
Yeah, sure. We can touch on it. Yeah, sure.
All right. So me and JD and a bunch of other people that I've met on this we all play Call of Duty, and I don't know if any of you guys have followed the whole kind of Activision, Blizzard, Sony, Microsoft stuff, but there's like gaming histories of Microsoft is about to buy. It's it's going to happen. Microsoft is about to buy Activision, Blizzard, and Call of Duty. And that's going to be huge. That's huge.
Yes. So the closed this was a $69 billion deal. It changes video games, really. It does.
Yeah.
It'll make things a lot different. I mean, I don't know everything about video games, but I pay attention to it quite a bit. And me and Bobby were both talking about this quite a bit lately. Sony is trying to sue them for monopolizing American. I guess they're making it harder for them to finish this deal. Activision Blizzard has been in the toilet for a long time. They had a breast milk scandal. They've had sexual harassment scandals. It's just been a nightmare. You know what I mean? They've gone through some weird,
their
stuff.
Name for the last 2 years has been drugged through the
cringe. Oh, it's just disgusting. It's just they've just been involved in some of the most heinous things that it's just weird, man.
Not paying developers for work, dragging Raven software through the mud. Yeah, it's been a bad look for them, dude. Bad luck.
Absolutely terrible. So Microsoft came in and they said, "Hey, we'll buy you out. We'll just buy you out." And it's going to happen, I think. I'm fascinated to see what does happen in the next generation of American gaming because that's going to shift everything over. It's almost like it's Microsoft has bought American gaming almost. I mean, there's now everything that's not
And it's an
Microsoft.
American company. It's an
Yeah.
American company, and it's shit like, but like, and let's be honest, right? Microsoft, when when Xbox has problems, they're pretty good about dealing. You know what I mean? There's not a problem for long. Like
I
it
like
gets
my
dealt
Xbox.
with pretty quick.
Yeah, it works pretty well. I think it's a pretty good company. Sony worries that Microsoft will degrade Call of Duty.
No,
I
there's
think they're
no
just
way.
mad that they
No,
didn't get.
that's just them. That's them worried that they're going to lose a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's a lot been mixed reviews on Modern Warfare 2. Um, a lot of people, they criticize the game for various reasons. I think Modern Warfare 2 is pretty good, or rather Warzone 2. Modern Warfare 2 I haven't played enough to give an opinion, but I think that it's a good game, and I think that Activision
No,
under
QC,
Microsoft.
you're right. He said that he goes, I'm glad they didn't ruin it. Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, no, 100% QC, 100% fact. It,
Yeah,
it's just it could like it's all it is Sony's just mad because how much exclusive stuff have they done with Call, like they're mad. Sony's just mad that Microsoft has more money than them to do that. You know what I mean? Like they're just like Microsoft made a power move. We're gonna buy this, and we're gonna make sure that the issues get ironed out, and it's back to being what like the glory days of it were. You know, like they're I think it's gonna be good, man. I think it's gonna be a good thing. But you wanted to finish on your Bulls.
deep pockets in Microsoft.
So let's
Yeah.
I mean your Bears.
The
So let's
Bulls. Oh yeah,
finish
the
on the
Bears.
Bears for you guy, and that'll be it for episode 34, guys.
Yeah,
So
I'll be back
what do you got, JD?
soon to
What do you
promote
got, bro?
probably next Thursday. I'm muted. So the last thing I would say. So me and Bill have been going back and forth in the chat, and he's talking about Bijan Robinson and who the Bears should draft at number 9. First, I want to say the last thing I would say about the Bears is I love the trade that Ron Poles pulled off. It was his first big move as a GM, and it was a good one. He
Mm.
got DJ Moore, who's an incredible receiver, maybe one of the best, if not top 5 receiver in the entire league. That if this will create clarity for Justin Fields. If Justin Fields is going to be a good passer in this league, he will be a good passer with DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Bill's talking about the Celtics and the Bulls couldn't get it done against the Bucks. Yeah, that's well, we're trying, man. but I would say just the last thing I would say about the Bears is that yeah, the offense created some clarity. I prefer that they draft. I think his name is Paris Thompson or something like that. I want them to draft that O lineman who's a complete beast.
Oh,
Um,
the tackle, right?
yeah, the tackle.
The
I
tackle, right?
want
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them to protect Justin Fields. Justin Fields' problem is very simple. He is an incredible talent. He has an incredible arm. He can be very accurate too. His reads are incredibly slow.
Yeah,
For
he needs a lot of time in the pocket.
he does more than most quarterbacks, unfortunately. Hopefully that changes. You know what I mean? Hopefully he gets a little bit quicker. It's changed a lot. Tom Brady was pretty slow with his reads. That was
But
actually
let's
his
be
number one
honest, right?
criticism.
Maybe he's having to read quick because he doesn't have time. You know what I mean?
He doesn't have time. He doesn't have
You know what I
time at
mean? So
all.
maybe it's partially the line too. So that
He's
like you said,
scared.
that
Yeah,
tackle, hopefully that tackle will slow his. It'll be a bit, it'll help him to
gets more
slow the
smooth.
game down a little bit.
Karam Mawani says you guys have never had a wide receiver like that before. I would say the only wide receiver that we've had like that is Brandon Marshall. So
Yeah, Brent.
yeah,
Yep, I was
it's
gonna
the
say Marshall.
only
Yeah.
guy that we've never had a guy as good as Brandon Marshall since Brandon Marshall. So DJ Moore is definitely that dude. But yeah, it's been a great episode, man. Thank you. We went 10 minutes over, but it was very fun. I got to take care of the baby now, man. I got to finish up some work, but it was
JD,
great to talk to you guys.
yeah, it's so like we said, guys, we're back. Me and JD are gonna be back at it again. We're back. We're gonna start seeing us a lot more regularly, and we appreciate all the support. JD's got to go get on that dad life and go take care of some dad duties. But we will see you on episode 35. Once again, thanks again for the support, guys. And that is it for the Down the Pike podcast. Me and JD appreciate you guys. We're out of here. Peace. I will be live for the Bruins in 15 minutes. So
Oh, sweet. Right on.
Yeah.
Let's tune into that, boys. All right. Have a good
thanks
one,
again,
bro.
guys, for the support. We appreciate y'all. We're out of here. That's it for episode 34. Take it easy, guys. See you in a few.